Ooh.
This is Pastor Rock.
Recording live from 3. Counting 3 locations.
This is Pastor Rock.
I love when you loop it.
My name is Patrick. And as always, I'm joined by 2 great men. Slightly different one great man today. But first, Jacob, a.k.a. Bethke.
Yeah, still me, still great as always. But now I'm in the humble presence of a greater man.
And Tyler, a.k.a. Ty?
Whatever that works.
2 voices.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. I don't know about greater man.
I think anyone who knows both of us would definitely choose you over me, and I don't think that's exaggeration there.
Yeah. All right. Caesar, we'll have Caesar vote whenever he gets back.
Yeah, Tyler's in for Caesar, or at least Tyler's giving us a few minutes of his time this week as Caesar's out going to a Travis Scott concert. And we'll hear from Caesar at some point. He's sending me something. I don't know.
I'm sure he is.
But
hey, I just want to say one thing about the Travis Scott show before we jump into Tyler. So I was disappointed. Tyler, we have a Dallas FICAP group chat.
Sure.
It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's a lot of beat boop concerts and a lot of like guys being 5 days behind news stories and stuff like that, right? Real grown adult group chat shit.
That tracks, yeah.
So once Simmons posted a picture of Travis Scott's golf shoes, and I go, "It's lit at the 9th hole." No reaction. I was so hurt. I was like, "Are we this old? Are we this far removed from our prime?"
So the thing is, I'm gonna give you the same reaction, so I can't say shit.
Yeah, I have no.
I had to say it. So no one's listened to Travis Scott.
I've
ever.
No, I've heard one of his
2014.
I've heard one of his verses when Toasty Digital used it.
That's crazy. So you're telling me neither one of you guys like have any awareness of Antidote?
My mom taught him in high school at Elkins.
Huh. What? We never knew that.
In the Houston area, yeah.
All right, now you're our resident Travis Scott.
I don't know anything about him. She just said he was really quiet, and she's like, his name is Jock, not Travis.
It is Jock. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Travis Scott's a good rap name, though.
But then Jacquees came out, and it would have been confusing. But anyway. In 2014, if you weren't living under a rock, the song "Antidote" was all over the radio. Or 13, I think. What was it? Don't open up that window. Don't let out the antidote.
Sure. I'm sure it was.
The whole chorus was like, "It's lit at the night show." And then so "It's lit at the 9th hole" would be a play off that. So
I'm sure there's a great sick reference, dude.
All the kids that are listening to this, they're going to love that reference because they're like, "Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the kids that were... Yeah, okay, never mind.
No, honestly, Tyler just makes
probably
me
done
understand.
Like a Fortnite concert, right? I'm sure he's one of those kind of guys.
Okay, now you're making me feel old because Travis Scott is not. There's only like 2 years behind us. Like in pop, like if you're a little kid, you would have always thought.
I've never really followed the radio rap scene too much.
Yeah, and there's no substance to it, so like I'm not pretending like Travis Scott's like that great. It's just he was really big.
I never thought you were promoting him to me. Just the fact that we didn't know who he was.
I know who he is. I just have never. I've listened.
I know that's still crazy, but it's
I've listened to the bare minimum Travis Scott that you could have possibly heard.
I get that because everybody doing the Taylor Swift jokes, I'm constantly completely Captain America meme every time. I'm just like, I don't understand any of these references.
And they're not referencing anything from when I was listening to her in 2009. It's all these new stuff.
Yeah, no, I can remember the ones they played at Sonic when I was in high school. It's not good. It's like in my nightmares. But anyway, that was my moment of derailment. I have to get one in.
No, that's fine. I was hoping Caesar might hop in and try to join us for the Travis Scott concert, but I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see what his cell phone coverage is like. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and get started. So we have Tyler here with the American League Championship Series and your Texas Rangers.
Let's go.
Commanding.
Whoa.
What's that now?
You just went into like a submersible.
That duck? You mean?
Tyler, you're hearing that too, right?
Yeah, it sounded like you were underwater.
Sounds like somebody just put a pillow over your face.
Oh, do I still sound like that?
Oh, there you go. There we go.
No, that's much better.
All right,
Okay,
we're back.
weird.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
That's
So
the technical
Rangers.
difficulties.
Nice.
The Rangers take the first 2 games in Houston, as everyone expected. Obviously, no problem. The bullpen held up its end of the bargain. Jose Leclerc's been 7 appearances and 7 wins, and I don't know what else to say. It's
It's
pretty much all gravy.
Yeah, it's been insane. They keep talking about it on Fox too. It's like the turnaround in the end of the season, like how you were feeling about it at the end of the season versus now. It's like, okay, you're rolling into, you had the easiest shot at the playoffs, and now you're going through the hardest route you possibly have to take with Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Houston, and then inevitably the Braves or Phillies or whoever they encounter there. Or Diamondbacks now, I guess.
The D-bags.
Yeah, but you were thinking at the time you're getting the Braves probably or the Phillies. They look so good.
That's what I've been thinking all year. Yeah.
Right, exactly. They're inevitable. But now the Phillies seem inevitable. But so do the Rangers. To a lot of people that are not. I mean, they don't seem that way to me because I've been.
We're too close.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Yeah, we're way too close.
Yeah, you've been cheated on before. It's like so it's rough but this is the most fun I've had as a Rangers fan since 2011 and I was it means so much more now. The Rangers are now hopefully this continues, but they're undefeated in Avery's lifetime, so like they're rocking and rolling. He's yeah, absolutely, there it is. Unreal.
We're gonna get there. I had it ready.
Amazing. But he's Avery's watched every game. It's just been so fun. Caroline's getting really into it too, and especially because my parents are Astros fans, and I have so many friends. One of my best friends of the world is a huge Astros fan, and so they've had it so good for so long that it's just like, shut up, let us have our turn. I want to sweep. I want to sweep. I want everyone to shut up, and and then we got to worry about still winning a World Series. But just getting through the Astros would be so fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, it's terrifying.
That's taken this long to really get going for real in any real sense, because we were really good when they joined the division. They were in the middle of the most blatant tank that's ever been, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we were not really tanking, but they were just still kicking our ass. And now we're both kind of together, and this is what it's about.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, those series against them in 2015 and 16. That's the last time this has been any sort of competition, you know? So me and my friend that I was just talking about, Adam, have a bet every year, or we used to until the Rangers started getting their ass kicked every year, and I stopped doing the bet, that they the loser, whoever lost the season series, had to buy the other person a hat. So I bought him so many hats. He only bought me a hat the first year that we ever did it, and he was like it was a stupid joke hat. It wasn't even what I wanted. So it's like, now, you know what, we're laying it all on the line. We're gonna see who, the Rangers have been baby brother for so long now that it's like, now it's our turn.
Dude, that's why the other night felt so good to me. So Bob lives in Boston now, right? He's married. He came down. His wife, also a UNT grad. Big Rangers fan, got it from her dad kind of stuff. So every time they come in town, we're probably going to a Rangers game. This is my first, try to go out and see it. I go to see the game. They rush Uvalde back with Houston in town, and it is just an embarrassment. It is literally
right in the heart of the free ball.
Yeah.
All three of those games in that series were an embarrassment, so I don't even know which one you went to. That was awful. That was like the worst series of baseball.
The middle one, yeah.
I mean, they were all just like one.
The one
after
Altuve hit 3 or 4 home runs in. That was it.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what had me so scared coming into this series against the Astros, and they've just they've just looked better. I mean, Fromber's a choke artist. Tonight scares me, or but so I'm nervous. I'm real nervous about tonight, with Scherzer having so many questions, and Javier being like this lockdown guy in the playoffs, even though he wasn't that good during the regular season.
Yeah, neither was our bullpen, so
that's true. But it's really only been 3 people, and one of them has been suspect as hell anyway. So it's really just been Leclerc and Spores that have been good. So we'll see. I mean, Will Smith had one inning. Brock Burke.
Look, Chapman's gotten the job.
You live by the Chapman, you die by the Chapman.
He got the 2 outs he needed before Alvarez came up. So that the Alvarez home run didn't mean as much.
Right. So that's Chapman is just makes me so nervous when he comes in. I want him off my baseball team so bad, but they got him for this. They're not gonna not run him out there. The thing is, he keeps escaping danger, so they have no reason to not send him out there. I just want to peel the Band-Aid off, let this guy get lit up once, and let's just not use him anymore. I don't know.
Was it Heaney? You're just trying to bring Heaney off of there.
He keeps warming up. Yeah,
that's the thing. Who else? You got? You have Heaney and you have Bradford.
You have Perez, Stratton.
Yeah, that's true. Perez.
Yeah, I'm surprised Stratton.
Gray. We have Gray too.
That's the thing.
I don't know if they're going to start him or if they're just going to use him for relief. I don't think they really told us yet.
I think they're only going to use him in relief. I would imagine tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's going to be whoever doesn't piggyback off Scherzer tonight, right? So Scherzer's going to give you 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. Probably. 9. Hopefully. Right.
Holy shit! That would be the comeback of a fucking lifetime.
Yeah, that would be.
He was never actually hurt; just been resting.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got to kind of trust a guy like that. He's been he's a future Hall of Famer, right? So you got to trust that guy. But and Bochy, you trust him to run him out there. But he's gonna have Heaney or whoever ready to go, Bradford, someone behind him ready to go. So.
Yeah, and with Houston, I was going to say with Houston, the one thing I'm still struggling with, because this season it felt like, oh, this is the end of their run, even if it isn't really, despite whatever the Rangers are, take the Rangers completely out of this. It felt like this year, from an outside perspective, as a novice, it felt like this is Houston's kind of, whatever. Is it the Dano Mall? What is it in movies whenever the plot starts to go down or whatever?
I know
whatever
you're talking after Well. I don't know. They dealt with a lot of injuries through the year. It's obvious Altuve is not playing well. They're missing. I mean, they're clearly not the same team. They're still really good though, and that's kind of where they're at. They have a chance to pick some things up and fix them in the off season. They're not that far removed from where they were.
Yeah, they're gonna have to switch tactics because they've just been counting on all of their prospects coming up, right? They have so many guys. It's their entire rotation. All of these dudes are homegrown for them. That they came through their organization that they signed for cheap out of Venezuela or the Dominican Republic or wherever, or Mexico with your Urquidy. So they got these guys for cheap, locked up, and they're good. So they're kind of solidified there. They're just going to keep adding little pieces. Hope Lance McCullers, is he a free agent or is he back with them? I don't know.
Couldn't tell
but
you.
Who knows if he'll ever even pitch again in the major leagues? But they're going to stick around still. Seattle's window's open. It's going to be a 3-horse race in this division every year now, and the Rangers are going to be right there at the top of it, which is awesome. I mean, the Angels are going to suck ass for a while. The A's are going to suck ass for a while. So we got I don't know. Games going.
I guess it depends on when they moving to Vegas in 3 years. I can't remember when that happens, but
yeah, that's probably their trajectory of when they want to compete again.
Yeah, when they're even going to try to put money into anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did want to mention, because the offense really hasn't been firing on all cylinders. At least the first 2 games. We got a 2-0 win game 1, which is nice. So was it an Evan Carter single? Or no, he stretched the single into a double, then got knocked in at some point. I think from either Heim or Young. Heim. And then who hit the solo shot? Was it Tavares?
Yesterday. Heim the day before.
Heim got the solo shot Tavares for the insurance run. Monty went 6 innings, 5 hits. All that was great. You'd like to see the offense do a little more. And then game 2, they come out pretty hot. And this is where my conspiracy brain gets kicked in, where the MLB doesn't want an early just beat down. They want people to stay tuned to a game. So all of a sudden, this umpire has to go check his mask for 5 minutes in the middle of the Rangers. Just every single batter swinging, hitting one on the first or second pitch, and then you got the phantom foul tip in the glove, whatever that call was. We never got a full explanation of what he actually was calling there. That kind of halted the offense, and then it was pretty much halted the rest of the game. Luckily, we got that 5th run, which was at the Tavares, or is that someone else?
It was Heim game 2, Tavares game 1.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Which ended up being the winning run, so we needed it. 2 home runs for Alvarez, but also a lot of strikeouts for Alvarez. We're doing okay against him, except for 2 pitches. What are you supposed to do on those two pitches?
You can't do it. That's the thing about him. The whole game for him is like, I mean, he's Barry Bonds light, right? Like you pitch around him. But the thing is, like, they have hitters around him that are just not going right now. If those guys, if Tucker is on, then like that's a whole different lineup you're facing. If Bregman and Altuve are going like they could be, then you're just hoping that this slump elongates because those guys are really, really, really good all the time. Alvarez is just, I mean, the best pure hitter in baseball. Like, I don't know, it's unreal. Him and Corey Seager,
it's either him or Wyatt Langford, and
hey,
it's so exciting just like to watch this and to watch Carter batting 3rd tonight. Like,
I was gonna say that was gonna be the next place I went with this.
They asked Bochy, he said, "Why not?"
Yeah,
he pulled the Russell Westbrook. He said, "Why not?" I was so proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, you what a testament to Bruce Bochy, a future Hall of Fame.
He's a genius.
Manager, one of the greatest managers of all time.
Yeah,
trust this 21-year-old kid in the batting 3rd in his lineup in the biggest game of the year. Like, that's just incredible that this kid's gonna have that. I mean, let's hope he just keeps doing this, and then the future's so bright with Langford and other guys, a few of the pitchers. If one of them lands as good as they should be and come back healthy and stay healthy, then you're really excited about this team for a long time. So that's what's so fun right now.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, and thinking about the way we built it is kind of interesting because most teams do the build the farm and then hire a couple of guns, but the Rangers were like, we see Seager and Simeon on the market right now, and so if they can put up with a couple of years of not being great, then all of a sudden this can be real. So we kind of did it in an opposite direction than most people do, and then this year we definitely spent big. And interestingly enough, Uvalde, who wasn't the most money we spent, could be the team MVP if you want to talk about his first half, especially right after DeGrom gets hurt. I mean, he was an all-star, and then what he's done so far in the playoffs. I think that's going to be done. Yeah, I think right now he's kind of the most underrated guy that we picked up that's different this year, that's made the most impact.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Monty too. Since I know.
Yeah, and that's just later in the year.
I know he's a rental, and you may not. Maybe he loves it, and he doesn't want to leave. Evan Carter. I saw him talking to. He got pulled on the post game for game 1 and was talking to Jeter and A-Rod and Poppy and was he's this kid is this kid. I've never seen such professionalism, and they were like, "You're about to get paid," and I was like, "He is about to get paid, but what if he just wants to stick around because he has so much fun playing with this team?" And but he's about to take some big ass contract probably, so we'll see.
I could be here. I mean, I could see why convincing old Ray Davis that a 30-year-old Montgomery is a much safer bet at a much lower price than DeGrom was. So
yeah, you're gonna real. Right, you're going to pay a lot for. I mean, I don't know who the other big pitching free agents are, but I guess we're not really here to talk too much about free agency yet. But it's
not
yet.
But I mean, it is important. I've still not caught up on who we could potentially lose. So I actually didn't realize that.
It's really it's Montgomery and Garver, pretty much. Is
really?
Leclerc, but they'll pick up his option.
And
now.
I think they have. Okay. I think they have an option to let Perez go. I might be wrong.
I think Perez is gone. Yeah, Perez is gone for sure.
He feels like the odd man out right now.
He signed a qualifying offer last year, so he's making way above what he should be making right now anyway. So he's not gonna.
And he earned it for the year before, or the year and a half before.
Totally, but he's not worth $18 million or whatever they're paying right now.
Oh, luckily, it's baseball, and you can just keep throwing the money out.
Yep.
And that's why Ray Davis got my business again, because I wasn't about to be, dealing with this fucking cheap ass attitude. But I didn't see the vision for a while either. I know in baseball it's kind of longevity math instead of.
It's tough to. I think we should talk about actually. While I have you here, Tyler, I don't know how much more time you have, so let me know if you need to get out.
No,
okay.
I'm good for now.
So today they did announce the infield Gold Glove finalists, which includes a plethora of your Texas Rangers. One notable omission in Josh Young, and I don't know if the explanation is for the time he missed or what, but that's kind of upsetting because he's an incredible third baseman on top of his bat. But I think he'll have some more chances at it.
Yeah. They did announce outfield too. Adolis is the only one.
Oh, I didn't hear the outfield. Okay, I only saw the infield one this morning.
Adolis is the only addition. Yeah, that's the only one you'd expect. But yeah, I was surprised to not see Young on there, especially over like Bregman. I don't know,
legacy voting in the media.
Oh, yeah, it's always going to exist.
Sure, and he did miss time, so I guess that's understandable. But maybe it's just bias from us watching him make pretty much every play except for that error in game 2. I was like, oh my god, you can't even.
He felt charged up. He saved himself on the second.
Yeah.
And
you
the
can't
third,
even be. Yeah.
He had one at the end of the game too, where he almost bobbled the ball.
Yep. Oh yeah, bobbling it and stepping on the bag. Yeah. He's been great. So it's a shame that he'll get snubbed for that, and then he won't.
Also,
win.
Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah, he should be in the top 3 of that. If he's not in the top 3 of that, I'd be very surprised. But he should be runner up or third in Rookie of the Year this year. But the Rangers should rack up quite a few awards. I mean, Corey Seager's going to get second in MVP voting. Simeon will probably win a Silver Slugger. Seager will win a Silver Slugger. They're gonna rack up some awards. Let's just hope there's also a parade to go along with those.
I mean that is the most important. But I do want to give Lowe. So it's Lowe, Simeon, Seager, and Heim all up for Gold Gloves in the infield.
They do pitching Gold Gloves.
They do.
Oh, okay.
How consistent do you have to be to earn like that? That feels like an opportunity situation.
Don't overthrow first.
Zach Greinke won like several gold
and I bet there's obviously different pitching styles, so I bet there's some ground ball pitchers who get a lot more run on that because they just.
I bet Mark Burley won a few. Mark Burley was like a good a fielding pitcher, or maybe
I feel like Kenny Rogers probably did too.
There's some reputation. It's probably more reputation.
I mean, it's all based on numbers at that point because no one's watching pitchers for their defense.
Did you see that Mauricio Dubon is up for second base and utility?
Interesting.
He's up for both.
Who he play for?
Houston.
Astros.
He's like the baby-faced kid. It's really good.
Yeah. The baseball names, they take a lot longer than some of the other ones.
He's good. He's the one that looks like he weighs 150 pounds soaking wet. That's not Altuve. Altuve is way more muscular than this kid.
Tyler, my favorite moment from that live game, not obviously the game, it was completely embarrassing, but the moment that I got to see Jonah Heim at second base standing next to Altuve.
Yeah.
That was truly incredible. Will never. And I'm way up there, so I'm in the 300s, and I can tell, dude. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. They talk about on the broadcast that he's like an inspiration. That like no matter what your shape is, it's possible.
Yeah, that's what I've told Caroline that too. I said that when I was at a baseball game. And I don't know if I've said this before or not, but. Miles Mastrobuoni was batting. He's like a Cubs utility.
I only know about him because of one important clip.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a name. I wish he was more famous.
Yeah, and I was looking and I was like, this guy is tiny. And I looked up and it was 5'11", 185 pounds or 180 pounds. I was like, oh, he's exactly my size. Okay, he just looks dwarfed compared to all these other dudes that he's standing next to.
And I'm sure I've talked about it on here before, but the first time I ever saw JJ Barea he was warming up with Dirk for a Mavs Clippers game, and I just thought he was like a team. I thought he was like a manager, a team equipment guy, just hanging out. All of a sudden, like he's like taking off and getting in the game later. It's like, oh, they're letting him play too.
Dude, I got to put my foot next to JJ Barea's shoe, and I think my foot is twice as big as JJ Barea's foot. Which I do have big feet, but like at the same time, it's just mind blowing for. A baseball or for a basketball player.
I would not.
Dude, all right. Let's see if any other things.
Real quick with the Gold Glove stuff. So Jonah Heim, and I feel like it'd be crazy if Jonah Heim wins it. We have the same catching coaches when Jose Trevino won.
Bobby Wilson, baby.
Yeah. And Jose Trevino won the Platinum Glove that year. So it's interesting that the Rangers just have this stranglehold on catching defense with Hedges being the frame master and then Heim being really good at it too. I don't know enough about Garver's catching, if his defensive catching is really all that much, but
I don't think it is.
No.
Yeah. No, I just
think it's interesting that of all positions, we had Pudge, which obviously skews some things, but it's a position we've really multiple times, at least in my life, had a really solid investment in. And it seems pretty smart, and it seems like it works out, especially with having Mike Maddox in charge of the pitching. So.
Oh, yeah. Tyler, who was the catcher we kept wanting to have for the Rangers post Napoli? You're Toronto Raptors, dude. There was we were rumors for
the
4 years.
The Blue Jays guy?
Blue Jays, sorry, yeah.
Are you talking about
There was a fucking catcher we were rumored in the room. The Rangers were rumored for this dude for years, bro. And I think we eventually got
him. Well, they were you're thinking of Lucroy. Yeah, that Brewers. He was a Brewers guy. Jonathan
Lucroy. Yeah, he would have been on some of those playoff teams. I don't think he was on the 2011 team, was he?
No, he was way after that. He was 20
Okay.
He was the 2016. He was the year he was on the team with when he came over the same trade deadline that we got Beltran. Carlos Beltran. Fuck. So but Lucroy was on the team the next year, and he was a shell of what he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yep. That's who you're thinking of.
That's baseball.
That should have me cracking up. I'm sorry. It's funny to have rumors, and you talk about the catchers, and we were with that fucking rumor because that was really me learning baseball. Is that of it? I really had no knowledge.
Is that when we were roommates?
The Torrey Hunter of catchers.
Yeah.
Yes, Torrey Hunter of catchers. There you go. I know Torrey Hunter. I remember him fucking our shit up quite a bit back in the day.
Yeah.
When we actually cared about the Angels games. What else is there? Evan Carter has to stay at 32. You're on this bandwagon now?
I don't know. I mean, he might as well.
I don't think he gets a say in it.
He might as well at this point. I don't know if they're gonna sell Evan Carter World Series 32 patched jerseys. Then
there's no reason for him to stay. No, unless he wants to. It's all his choice. But
yeah,
I don't think anyone really cares because they can just sell multiples. Because if they win and he wears a 32 and then changes, then all of a sudden that's a magic jersey for people to buy.
Right. But also if it's not his numbers. I think when Odor came up, he was 77 or something like that before he switched to 12.
It's a big spring training number right there.
Yeah, so it's not they called
him up. Could have been ahead
of
the curve in DFW though.
Well, no. What it means in baseball is you're not going to make the team when we give you this number.
Yeah,
unless you play for
maybe
the
next year. Yeah, right, because they don't have any numbers left. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that lineup when their jerseys were 85, 88, 89, 97, 98. That's so funny.
That's why you can't really do it in football because they haven't completely opened up numbers yet, so you can't do it.
Honestly, that's whenever I was on the side of I didn't love that we gave it to the linebacker guy, but when we gave Romo's number away, I was like, look, I don't want to see a bunch of goofy numbers on this field. 12 and 22, and that's it.
On this franchise, nine didn't get it done. So
that's true too. I mean, it's all different between what franchise it is.
Yeah,
but it's just
and the other thing with the going back to 32 is it's not like they're going to retire Hamilton. So,
right.
So they've already got him in the hall. No, they've got him in the Hall of Fame. That's all.
We almost got there.
You're not seeing the vision in 20 years.
All he had to do was
that 32 up there. It's not going to have a name, just like the other ones. And then the old heads will know. We'll know that's for two people.
They don't want to do that.
Just low key, just very low key. We're not going to be necessarily proud of the second one. We're just going to remember it, and then it's going to be look.
I'm proud of 80% of the shit he did in a Rangers uniform.
Yeah. No, it was. There's
just
2
take
years
out
there where he was the greatest baseball
player.
Really,
take out 3 games in 2012 and
take out the second half of 2012, and you've got a legendary player that has no downside on as a team member.
I would say either before Darvish got here or before Seager got here, he was during his time here, the best baseball player I've ever watched in person. Just all around, just incredible talent.
It is nuts, yeah.
No,
it's nuts watching.
But Seager's also right up there.
And now we're inviting Benji Molina to catch pitches out because
is Young throwing to
the
Molina?
statue wasn't enough.
Who's throwing to Molina?
He's if necessary. I think it's Tom Grieve. Is it
Grieve,
yeah. Grieve to Benji Molina if necessary.
That's cool. I'm glad they're bringing Tag back in. They need to.
It's Tom Grieve to Benji Molina for Game 3 or Game 5.
5, yeah.
Yeah. So who's 4?
Okay, hang on. Bigger question. What game of the World Series does Scott Stapp sing the national anthem? The guy from you know, like
I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch with this first shit. But he's got to be game 1 if it happens.
Yeah, if they have it, I'm surprised honestly that they didn't do it for the ALCS. Honestly, I'm surprised. But like, I don't know. Maybe they asked him and he's just still too nuts. That dude was pretty crazy at one point.
Has he been positive about it, or is Creed? I'm confused.
The Creed Twitter account was about it.
Creed Twitter account, which, or also another point. Creed has a Twitter account. That's interesting because they were gone.
Is one of the biggest Twitter accounts on Twitter.
Yeah, but Creed was dead
best-selling bands. Yeah, they're one of the best-selling bands of all time still. So they got a following. They got to talk to them when they're on tour.
That's true. But aren't there band members in? They're also most of the band members are in Alter Bridge or were.
That's what I thought. But that was 20 years ago when that happened.
I don't know what that is.
That band still makes music, man.
This is the perfect era to do just permanent Creed tours.
Yeah, Alter Bridge does. This is for Caesar whenever he gets back. They do WWE Superstar Edge's entrance music. That's who that is.
I think that's actually how I would have heard of that.
Probably.
I have a small wrestling window of knowledge, and Edge happens to fit that.
I listened to a lot of really shitty music in middle school and high school, so that's how I know them.
Is Edge Triple H? Is that the same guy?
That's a different person.
I know.
Tyler, you're a Skillet fan? Is that what you're saying?
No, Skillet was never. That was never one of them. But it was.
Aren't they like a Christian supposedly band?
Yeah.
So is Creed. I mean, but like.
Yeah,
I think Skillet was more so though. Like I think that was like Skillet.
Switchfoot. I like Switchfoot. Yeah.
Switchfoot. All right. That one. They
got a couple songs I like.
They were the ones who did the drunk driving song, right?
What?
I don't think so.
You're talking about How to Save a Life by The Fray?
How could this happen to me? That song?
I don't think that's
Come on, you never had Mothers Against Drunk Driving come into your school and scare the shit out of you with some like video of someone getting drunk and then murdering people driving to that song?
Matt Bush.
And that was my reality.
Well, he's off the team now, so.
Dude, my high school did the thing where they had the wrecked car and they put it on the road and they had all of us come outside and they like
shattered.
Staged.
It's like Shattered Dreams or Shattered something.
They like staged that it was.
Did they stage the Care Flight too? Because ours did that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That sounds familiar. I think they did do that. Yeah.
It was a big thing in our era.
At my high school, this isn't to be celebrated at all, actually, but my high school did actually have like once a class someone. Because of that, so small town Texas, it's more common than you think.
I mean, we had a few when I was growing up, and it's not uncommon anywhere.
Anyway, that was a depressing turn. I just thought that
probably
that was
less
that
uncommon
bad,
in a big city where there's not as many people driving, but
yeah. But yeah, no. So that's all I was saying. Oh, the last note I had, and this goes back to your catching thing. We're sure we're not cheating, right? I just have trust issues with baseball, man.
Not sure at all. Don't care. Doesn't matter. If it finds out we're cheating,
we
just become the villains.
Era,
whatever.
Are we in the post-cheating era though? Like
no. They just found a new way to do it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So like
there's
now
always
the
people
MLB's like, we did something about it.
We just have to define what the limits are and make sure that we define those limits as technology evolves, not after we find out what people are doing with it.
We don't even know how many teams were actually cheating. Like,
I would assume all of them.
So, yeah, like
I remember we were named in a report, and I died laughing because we were losing 100 games a season.
Yeah, it's
like... I mean, skill still matters. Like, you might know a 98-mile-an-hour fastball is coming, but if you can't hit one, then
Hey, Carlos Beltran wasn't on our team long enough for us to get involved in the cheating.
tried to implement it. And Jeff Bannister shut it down real quick.
he would. Jeff Bannister would be the dude.
Oh my god!
I didn't know he's the Diamondbacks. He's on the. I saw him in the Diamondbacks dugout watching the game the other day. I didn't know he was.
I knew he'd end up somewhere. He's
like their bench coach or something. Yeah.
I liked him because he looked like the guy from Saw.
He does look like
Jigsaw.
Yeah, he does.
Like the puppet.
No, the guy who actually. Have you ever seen any movies?
Okay.
There's actually a dude behind.
I
it.
have, but I don't remember. I know that there is a man running the whole game, but
him. Yeah.
He's also in a lot of old
subsequent movies tried to make it a lot more convoluted than it needed to be.
If you're a big action movie in the 90s fan, you just randomly see the guy you just see Jigsaw all the time as like little bit parts and stuff, and it's just kind of jarring now.
Like seeing the guy from The Shield when he was on Seinfeld.
What? I haven't gone back and watched Seinfeld in forever, dude.
You should.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Fuck. All right.
After the World Series, Seinfeld.
Yeah.
This can turn into a Seinfeld podcast.
I'd do it.
No, dude. I gotta grind. I'm gonna grind preseason basketball right now.
Pass the remote. That's all I gotta do. We just start a whole pass the network and.
Pass the remote's not a bad one though. That's actually
pass the. I've thought of that. That's one I've previously thought of, and pass the aux and yeah.
Oh yeah, pass aux easy. That's an easy one.
There's too many. It's set up for a lot of things. Tyler, did you have any big Ranger stuff that you wanted to say to get out?
Yeah,
as I cycle through these for no reason.
No, I mean nothing else. Just that this is it's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. This is like the most fun I've ever had watching it. It's going to be really tough for me to not get tickets to a World Series game if they make it. It's going to be really tough for me to not make that flight. So maybe I'll text y'all and see if that's like something that would be in anyone's wheelhouse. I know a lot of people down there, so like we should if I ever do next time I do come down there, we should hang out. Hopefully, it's to celebrate a World Series win or something like that. That would be
you got to come to the parade if nothing else.
That would be awesome. But get through the Astros first. They're still real scary up 2-0. If we were down 0-2, I'd feel a lot worse right now. But I still their road
record.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like they're gonna play that it's gonna be a sweep, but that would be so fun. So we just
that would be crazy.
And tonight feels like more of a must win than it should up 2-0, but it does to me because I just don't want to give any momentum back to them. But yeah, it's been awesome. Leclerc is the savior. Evan Carter is my new religion. So
I agree. Such a baseball guy. I was describing it as like he just wants to play baseball and go mudding in his Z71.
It's the way he just takes every pitch that's a ball and swings it every even like whenever he strikes out looking quite a bit and he's getting hosed or it's like on the very corner so
and it's in a 9 or a 10 pitch at bat.
I can't wait to watch him for a while.
He feels
lock him down next season,
and
just hope he hasn't dated a 14-year-old in a foreign country.
True.
You got to watch out for those now when you lock down your young superstars. But
exactly, it's every sport these days too. Go ask the Grizzlies how they're handling their business right now.
Right,
it's tough.
Right, yeah. So Carter is so fun. This is I'm having a blast. Let's just keep it riding. 2023 could be the best year ever. Got a new baby. Got a potential world. Rangers competing for a World Series. So this has been a lot of fun. And thanks you guys for having me. I hope we can hop back on again and celebrate sometime.
Course,
yeah, man. You're always welcome. We love having you. Especially appreciate you taking time out. I know the schedule's a lot busier since the birth of a child, so
and we'll have we'll have a lot of time to cover with obviously no baseball going on. So I think at some point, hopefully later than sooner, we can do a year recap thing, and then let's get ready for winter because. That's when the deal making begins.
The winter meetings coverage.
Winter meetings are cool as fuck. I wish the NBA did that version of free agency.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's basically what they do. They just don't all compile them together.
Wheel and deal. Let's just wheel and go to a hotel and wheel and deal.
The NBA, you have to do it with I wish I remembered the term where you like have multiple people who run the same Twitter account. So you just type a draft so that they can look at what you were typing without it ever being sent anywhere, thinking you're hiding it.
Yeah, no, you have to do. No, they wouldn't be able to put all those catty ass people in the same room, and it would be bad. Everyone's gonna be like, I want to be in my vacation mode. Yeah, it's too spoiled behavior now. I just want to compliment baseball on that because I feel like nobody does free agency as fun as that. I know the NBA free agency is usually the most notable thing, but it's only because like the biggest names will leave and it changes the momentum of the year. So in baseball, it's nice because it's like. I don't know. It just feels a lot more fun.
You can also get some just much crazier contracts because of the no salary cap.
That's true. Yes,
and it's the rumors.
Julio Rodriguez or whatever, the Mariners kid who signed like a 7 to 20 year contract with a bunch of clauses.
Yeah, they go crazy.
And it keeps the rumors feels like it's more bottled up in a moment in time. And one of my biggest things is, and I know the NBA does this on purpose, but I do hate how much the NBA tries to make their fan base be perennially online. Because like they're not wrong, but it's just like there's so much fluff now. Like in the rumor game, the content game, it is fluffy fluff. And so I like that.
And honestly, I would say that kind of dates back. I mean, it goes to a conversation you have a lot about things of moderation, but like would fans spend more and be watching more if they had more time off at some point? You know, if you weren't just constantly dragging them through. I don't know.
I would think so. But then the gambling people would be like, no, don't let them go.
Oh, there's plenty to gamble on.
They're getting TV ads for.
We're talking about off season. We're talking about off season stuff. We're not talking about the games themselves.
The important part is the Rangers are still rolling, and that a beautiful Avery Owens is now into this world, and Mom Pro has evolved to Dad Pro officially.
That was the AKA. I couldn't remember Mom Pro.
Yeah.
But Dad Pro now, no longer the artist formerly known as Mom Pro.
Yeah, things are on the up and up, you know. So let's keep it rolling. Let's go.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Past the Rock.
And we are back. And God damn it! One day I will learn to turn that loop off. We are down to 2. You're stuck with me and Bethke for the rest of this thing, but it's going to be fun. We're here to talk some football, and I'm going to pass this rock on over to Bethke.
Yeah, and if you're big into Caesar content, there's a whole Caesar exclusive piece coming to you. So big day for Caesar guys out there. College football happened. The Texas Longhorns did not play in it. So I don't know if you really have any notes. My only thing was shout out to Chandler Rogers, who got the Mean Green Fighting Machine back to 500.
Yeah,
a little Mean Green on that shoulder too.
Yeah, they're looking better than they have in a while. Colorado blew a big lead, and that was pretty big.
Right, yeah, that was kind of the biggest story.
But they'll be getting Travis Hunter back at some point. So
he already is back. I did.
Did he play in that game?
He had a hell of a. Yeah, I saw that before I went to bed. I went to bed. They were winning, and I woke up and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Interesting. I didn't know he was in that game.
Yes, he did play well. He had a really nice touchdown. You should look at.
Texas starts the rest of their Big 12 stuff. They got Houston next, and
their redemption tour.
Yeah,
that's what they got to call
it. Just win out, and you get another shot at Oklahoma, and it's all good.
Yeah, and then it's for obviously bigger fish to fry and all that good shit. But I mean, I think the formula is there. A lot of this is about Quinn Ewers, and you know, we don't need to keep going on about it. It's just either Quinn finds a comfortability in this offense that they can exploit, because there's really, like, I don't want to be mean to the kid, but he doesn't have a lot of excuses here, and it's not a big deal that he's not producing. Like, he doesn't need to be strung up by his.
No, it's just, I mean, the team needs what they need. He's got to
right now.
Yeah, he's got to fulfill those needs.
Or the short, whatever.
We'll see. It's still, I mean, it's only barely not even halfway through yet. So
right, and it's not because of the talent, right? Like, we've said it a million times.
No, we've seen him
all the time.
Yeah, we've seen him do it.
Yeah,
just need to see him do it every week,
consistently. But yeah, so if you don't have any college football notes, we can jump right into the NFL Week 6 season, or Week 6
recap.
Week 6 recap. extravaganza that we really aren't even going to go too deep into because it was a wacky day of football with a lot of funny losers and winners.
And if I'm being totally honest with you, I was so nervous about ALCS game 1 that I watched football, but don't remember much of it. I watched the entire Vikings game, but I was also playing Kingdom Hearts at the same time. So
that's nice. I think that's a good way to sort of like monitor your heart rate during
knowing what this team is, I'm not watching it to be like, we have to win this year or anything. So it's a little different.
Very fair. I feel similarly, but not as distraught.
I mean, your team's got a much better opportunity, I think, than mine does, but we'll see.
They do. Before we get into that, opening that box, that Pandora's box, I wanted to look at the final scores of everything, see if there's anything else that caught my eye.
Just look at the bottom ticker.
Nothing really matters too much. You're so right. That's on me.
I spent seconds putting that together.
Cleveland beating San Francisco was annoying with the backup quarterback.
Was that Thursday though?
No,
that wasn't Thursday.
See, now it's glad. Now, aren't you glad I pulled up the schedule?
Thought that was the Thursday game.
Sunday.
No, I mean Cleveland's defense is absolutely for real, and I think that their fans have to not be happy about the Deshaun Watson thing right now from every aspect of it. They're paying him a lot of money. He's not playing, and when he has played, it hasn't been great. And Baker's down in Tampa, probably going to win a division. So,
and the backup got to win. You know, that's tough. And a lot of they were rooting for the other backup before he got it, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, and again, that defense is legit, and the 49ers is too. But their offense finally met a defense that could at least imitate what they're doing, if not
and that's replicate it. That's why I fucked that game, especially for me, because it was just like sick. This is because remember, San Francisco also beat the shit out of Arizona, did what they were supposed to do against. So it's really just been a couple weeks of fuck San Francisco.
Nothing. But luckily for the Niners, they won't see Cleveland in the Super Bowl. So
yeah, that's fair. And even if they do, maybe the guy that would be quarterback is going to give up that hilarious cookie that he seems to give up at least once a game. Although that's a little dark with them. Shouldn't talk about giving up cookies with them. Either way, I was gonna kind of do a little bit of a one-off thing where I just enjoyed and ranted about one little particular moment of the NFL week that caught my eye.
The fake ban in the Chargers game.
No, that was notable. We can talk about that because it's half Minnesota Vikings coverage, so that is in your wheelhouse. So
it's just one of the pictures we saw in the still. Who knows how many more there are out there?
And Patrick, if I ever live in LA, I'm going to stay a Cowboys fan. But if I had to choose between the two LA teams to be nice to, I would pick the Chargers because they're obviously the West Coast Cowboys, and it just feels natural.
I always preferred the Chargers to the Rams, especially when the Rams were St. Louis. So
yeah, I just Chargers stuff looks cool. That's all it is. The biggest issue I had this week was. And this is maybe I should actually, hold on. I should do this. Take the Cowboys hat off. I'm going to do this just real quick. Just real quick here. I'm putting the NBA hat on because every time one of my guys does some dumbass shit flopping wise, I got to hear about it. I got to see it all over the world. I got to talk about, basketball not tough. Oh, football is so tough. So Carolina, Miami, did you see the punter hit the linebacker and then the linebacker flopped like a little bitty?
No, but I love those, especially when you slow them down.
So that one got my eye. It was my most notable thing that happened this week. The game was a blowout, right? Complete trashing. No reason to really have cared about that game too much if you're not a fan, right? Don't care. That moment made all the difference to me. I forget who their kicker was, but maybe it's Panthers kicker or a punter. Hits the linebacker and he flops. And like I said, I don't like it in the NBA. I'm not condoning flopping. I'm just saying that's what you get, NFL fans.
Okay, real quick, we're going to do this.
Are you pulling it up?
Yeah.
I just realized we're also past the Beanie podcast right now.
Yeah, I just got a couple new ones, so we're rocking it.
Nice.
Oh God. Okay, it's because it's a YouTube short. 1 second.
There we go. Yeah, they're beautiful.
I gotta watch it again because I couldn't see it.
It's okay. Well, they got this camera zoomed in on this angle too, so that's tough.
We'll see if this one has it.
The big lead.
Yeah, we're just sponsored. We're doing paid promos. Here we go.
There you go.
Paid promos for other
perfect.
sites.
Yeah, I think that's the exact video I saw of it. And then look, one more.
Oh yeah, the punter did that to him.
So he head taps
Johnny
him, and
Hecker, yeah. Oh, and they flagged Carolina on that too.
I think so. Yeah, I don't remember. I wasn't watching the game, so I don't know what it ended up being.
I don't know why that video looks so terrible, and I also need to figure out how to stop sharing the screen. 1 second.
Sorry.
There it is. All right.
Anyway, so yeah, NFL fans, that's what you get for talking shit. All fucking athletes are floppers, and that's just the way it is. Sucks up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I hate seeing it.
At least
but it's always funny,
right?
Yeah,
at least it's funny. Like the NBA gets annoying because it's too much, right? And it's not.
I mean, yeah, because it's just a facet of how the game is played. It's just happening way more often.
They literally have to make rule changes, so I get it as a different thing. I just wanted to do that tangent. So that's it. Back to football guy. We got the Cowboys beanie on, not the full thing because the Rangers. This is the importance of our heart. This is acknowledging that this is still actively terrorizing us.
4-2.
4-2 Dallas Cowboys. Doesn't feel like it. Feels like it feels like they're 4-2, but it feels like the most paper tiger I've ever felt watching the Cowboys. And I don't know if that's fair to them, if it's just history. Like,
is this where we're getting into this?
Yeah, we might as well just jump into the Dallas fuckboys and then finish off with the Minnesota Vikings.
I heard something interesting today that I've thought, but didn't say too much out loud because I didn't think anyone was going to hear it. But from a respected Cowboys cover man, Bob Sturm, kind of talking about the offensive line and is it? And I've thought this for a while. They've kind of been coasting on an old reputation. You've got a couple of Hall of Famers on there, but they're not what they were, and they're not what their money is.
Zach probably is fine for the most part.
But I mean, just as far as every year you come in, everyone's like, Cowboys. Obviously, it's like, don't even think about it. Best line in football. And it's like, well, they can't get any rushing yards, and Dak's getting sacked quite a bit.
There's also some offensive line head coaching changes that people seem to be citing a lot too. I have heard some of these rumblings myself.
And then you also do have to consider that the game itself this year, especially, is the defensive front seem to just be terrorizing every offensive line. Quarterbacks are having to throw the ball quicker. A lot outside of the Dolphins putting up the points they're putting up. Every other game is low scoring compared to what you would expect. So defenses are doing something, and the offenses need to adjust. And the Cowboys are right up there with everybody in that regard, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the injuries are probably the easiest way to kind of brush off the Cowboys' offensive line issue. But for me, it's not that easy. Like, I see that commonly. It's like, the lineups haven't been there.
But you're paying for them to be there, and if they're not there, then that's a problem. Availability is an issue, which Jerry said about Amari Cooper.
Right, exactly. And this is why the Amari Cooper stuff, with all due respect, Jerry, you guys are so old that it's obvious when you're being racist, okay? And I love you, but it's obvious, okay? And I'm telling you that because I want you to resolve
I don't know that it's even like I wouldn't say I would say that if it was that, it wouldn't be like intentional.
No, it was, but it's this, but that's why I say it. It's because they don't understand the reputation and the things they still do, because that's how ignorant they are to a lot of the real world problems and societal advancements and changes, right? And Amari wasn't the healthiest guy as a Cowboy. At the same time, he was one of the best leaders. I mean, you're talking about one of the best talents, there's so many more pros, and his number wasn't as crazy as it, especially what you gave Gallup. But anyway, back to my point here. the prioritizing guys with injuries thing is not cute. And I'm not being mad at these guys for being injured. I'm not saying the Cowboys are doing something wrong necessarily with the injury management or whatever. They could be. My issue is I think they love the discount sticker. They love the leverage that they get with operating with guys that they know have injury histories. And it always seems to fuck this team up. And they just don't care because they know that it's a way they can game the system. And then it's like, oh, 1 year we're going to game the system just right and it's going to work. And that's honestly bitch behavior. And kind of goes back to Jerry saying that they want to win a Super Bowl, but then kind of doing a lot of shit that doesn't feel like Super Bowl.
Well, no, he wants to win a Super Bowl. He just doesn't want it that much. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It feels that way.
He wants to act like the cap is a real issue when the Rams proved that you can win a Super Bowl and say F the cap. You're going to be bad for a while, but...
And then they're like, yeah, but we want to build a dynasty. And it's like, okay, brother.
Let's try to get one, and then we'll see about a dynasty.
Exactly. So anyway, yes, the offensive line should get more shit. I agree.
Yeah, and that's kind of... I thought that. And then obviously, there's easy stuff to point out. Gallup obviously not living up to the contract. And again, you paid a guy who was you knew had an injury problem, who had, and with him had never even actually proven much for you. Honestly,
yeah, he had some nice moments. You could see what the physical player was supposed to be, and
what could have been. Yeah, but you don't pay him as a one until he's at least had one season of being that. And that's been unfortunate. And then the Dak stuff. And it all comes back to he's so overperformed his first 18 games that the best that you can hope for is for him to replicate that. And then you're going to be like, well, we were hoping for more. Now he did scramble, get a touchdown. You're like, oh, look what happens when Dak runs. And you'd like to think they might incorporate that. But then you run into the Mike McCarthy problem. Every seeming answer seems to just keep leading me to another problem.
Yeah. That man above you.
But yes, it all eventually leads back to that.
So unfortunately, I can't solve that issue, or I can't even begin to explain how that could be remedied in any way that seems decent as a human being. Yeah, maybe. Because then I still feel like you haven't watched Succession, but for me, it's like it's going to be like the Lakers whenever Dr. Bus died.
A little more successful. I think Steven is a combination of knowing that he's not his dad and being willing to do some different things.
I like Steven a lot, and maybe there's a world where, I like Steven a lot as a general manager, or to some extent. I have some. The pie thing pisses me off.
He needs a cap guy, and I think that's supposed to be his job. So,
he's a
hopefully when he takes
really
the other
negotiator now.
Until someone says, "Yeah, let me talk to your dad."
Exactly, though. So there is this world where maybe without Jerry, he's a different guy and it's more successful. To me, I wish it would be. I think it's gonna be like the Lakers, where Steven's gonna fumble this up somehow, and then Jeannie's gonna have to save it like 5, 6, 7 years down. Or Charlotte's gonna have to save it, and it's because it's not gonna happen. The succession's already happened with this team. Like, we already know it's Steven's team. There's no hiding that. But like at the end of the day, Steven Jones,
maybe he pulls a Jon Snow and just, I don't want it.
Dude, he's an old dude too, for being honest. So I don't know.
How much more does he want to put into this? Yeah, I don't know.
So those are hard questions. Mike is fucked. Mike is looking down the barrel right now if this offense doesn't look way better soon, right? They got Philadelphia to come back from the break, right?
Is it immediate? I thought they had someone else right before Philly, but
yeah, I'd have to look that up.
So you got Eagles next. Rams. The 29th.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's
Eagles
like
November.
Yeah. Are they in? No, they're here. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say, damn.
Not
back-to-back home games. Yeah. So Mike, it's unfortunate. Don't really know what to say.
His whole thing comes down to: are you going to be able to beat the Eagles or the 49ers in December/January? And I think he knows that. I think everyone knows that. It's kind of where they're at, because it's not a guarantee they're going to make the playoffs, but they seem to be in the tier of teams that are probably, unless some drastic injury happens, are likely going to get in.
I would say the best way I can look at it, maybe this is good for me as a fan to have realistic expectations the whole year, but this team feels like they have all the talent and the mission and the reason to get to the playoffs. If injury and luck should finally fucking favor this team for once, they may crack the NFC title game thing. They might fucking get to a Super Bowl by some shred of fucking luck.
When you're in any given Sunday, obviously. Right. And that's why I said they do have to at some point beat either the Eagles, the 49ers, or both in
the bigger
one
fish
of those
thing
games.
Always comes up. And honestly, the Eagles don't scare me nearly as much. They do. They're better, but they don't scare me nearly as much as some of the other teams because I feel like motivation is good, and the Cowboys suck at motivating themselves in recent history, except for
you think they get up. You think they get up for those?
It literally blows my mind how this is the only time I can watch the Cowboys give a shit about football and trust.
But you also have to know the Eagles are also doing that same thing.
Right? It's war. It's war when it goes. There's even bad records. It's like Texas, Oklahoma. It's not. It is for real. And so, like, I always respect that, no matter the records of both teams and everything.
At this point, it's the only thing that keeps the NFC East together.
Yeah, for real. Or else they would have just gone ahead and redone the conference realignment or something. But yeah, so there's a few things, Mike, I'm worried about. Stephon Gilmore being my number one. I don't know if I can. Ty Dolla $ign's a little washed up at this point. And I was having fun with it when he was the 2, but now I'm just like, now I actually do see recording artist Ty Dolla $ign getting burnt, not Stephon Gilmore. And yes, they do kind of look alike.
He got a pick this week.
Not entirely, though. It's tattoo difference, quite a big tattoo difference. But either way, I guess the one thing I should say is, while Dakota wasn't perfect, damn, it would have been cool for him to ice the game and not rely on the defense with that last one. I was impressed, and I thought there was at least some resemblance of a changed man when it comes to the reliance on the pocket. Like, understanding that this offensive line
there wasn't one, so
like, yeah, maybe it was trial by fire. The Chargers are really good.
It was just forced into it.
Chargers are really good.
The question is, do they learn from it, or do they just say, let's stick to what we're doing? That's what we do. This is who we are. All that.
Yeah.
But I would say, as an outsider, for me, the scariest thing about that whole game is your coach's clock management stuff.
Yeah, Mike's not looking good right now. But
there's some real confusing stuff around the 2-minute warning and the end of the half, where you're just kind of confused as what the even, like, when the stadium clock guy's like, well, obviously he's gonna call a timeout and pauses the clock. You probably should have called a timeout there.
And then, yeah, his excuses.
What was it was like, oh, we got a holding call 4 plays earlier, so I didn't want to take another penalty. It was like,
actually, and I'm glad that he said that, because it helped me remember that this team is penalty. This penalty thing has gotten.
He's got
nuts.
it. They're focused on it.
Yeah, I'm aware, but the penalty thing has gotten bonkers, bro. This year has been bad. We've been getting flagged for offsides so much. I'm starting to wonder if it's conspiracy or complete lunacy.
Well, some of them are just lining up offsides.
No, some of them, I guess offside.
When I see that happening, what that tells me is that people saw it on tape and they mentioned it to the refs, and so then the refs have to call it because we told you this was going to happen, and it happened. You're like, well, yeah, I have to call this.
Yeah, I agree.
But false starts, holding, those are the real. I mean, those are real killers. Those are drive killers.
Oh, actually, I don't want to be dark here. Did Lane Johnson get hurt for real? Seriously?
I don't know.
I don't want to make jokes about a man who's hurt, even though he's a bitch-ass Eagle. This is great content.
Me looking up.
No, I'm looking up too, trying to find it. Okay, so it's good news. Hey, look, Eagles fans, Caesar, Bleed Green Nation says it's looking good. So I'm going to just read the headline only, because that's what professionals do. And I'm going to say that.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't, they wouldn't use looking good unless it was, because otherwise they'd be like, he'll never play again. Click here.
That's fair, dude. There's a lot of really dark ones on the NBA basketball YouTube verse, where there's like old guys that are dead and they go the life and tragic death, and I'm like, wait, That guy just died because he's old. It's a tragic end.
I was thinking about that because today, the day we're recording, I believe, maybe it was yesterday. It might be today. My days get mixed. Is the death day of either the birthday or the death day of gotta be birthday of Lee Harvey Oswald. And his Wikipedia page, it's like born, and then it says like assassinated, and it's like, man, the only way that his was gonna ever say assassinated was if he assassinated somebody, because really everyone else just says died, like he just died, no matter how it happens.
Well,
I'm just saying assassination's a really high level,
right?
So
right. No,
for him to get that, the only way he could have was to do one himself. That's because
does this say JFK's?
It does. I just mean for him, like he's an outlier because he wasn't it wasn't like if he had died before he had done that, it wouldn't have ever said that,
Right. No, well, he wouldn't have had a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. If he had tried to, he might and failed.
That's fair. Well, he wasn't going to fail because never mind. We can't get into JFK. Hey, I just want you to know I'm a Texan diehard, even if I don't live here forever. LBJ.
I'm on that sack to my bunghole.
Anyway,
I don't know if you ever heard any of the audio of him like ordering pants. Hilarious. There's a lot
of
really. He's like the first president that we got like a lot of good audio from.
Yes, there's a lot of audio of him schmoozing Jackie Kennedy after.
No way.
After he made the call, or did he? Allegedly. Was he P Diddy? I think he was P Diddy. What do you say at home? All right, anyway. Minnesota Vikings? New man on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the audio there, but I can talk until your audio sounds normal.
Do I sound bad now?
Is your audio back?
You can hear me at all?
The Vikings music is somehow louder, but it's not loud at all.
Okay.
There it is. Nice.
Maybe there's something wrong with all of that. Oh, well, that's too bad. We're okay. The Vikings game was really boring. Like I said, I watched it while I was playing Kingdom Hearts. They beat potentially the worst team in the league. I would say one of the three worst teams in the league.
But they had a glimmer of hope coming into this week that this was the last chance for the Bears to really just seize the opportunity.
If you're listening to national narratives and you're not being realistic with yourself, that before the season started,
or if you picked them to win the division,
it's okay. I picked my team and it's not looking great. And yeah, so we got the Vikings getting more people talking about the Kirk Cousins trade rumors. Obviously he has a no move clause or no trade clauses, I think is what they call it in football. Mm-hmm. And he'd have to waive that. So, that's a pretty complicated issue with a rental quarterback. And I think he's just not going to do that because why would he? He did bring up the Rangers listening to Creed and said that they stole that this week. And look, it worked. So
yeah, I saw the Garrett Bradbury thing, right?
Yeah. Really, I did a tweet with a GIF from Seinfeld of George talking about his worlds colliding because that's what that moment was. Yeah,
bro, you throw up an X now. That's what you do.
That's what.
Did Des get in on this?
It's a post. He's selling crypto on there still, and failing at military training reality TV. Which I sent y'all a clip about that. I don't know if anyone watched it, but he was only made it through one episode of this reality TV show about military training because he just couldn't put up with the guy yelling at him the whole time.
I didn't, but I was assuming that one day a clip will appear on the internet somewhere.
It's a cool arc of like he pretty much got screwed by the person he was being teamed up with just being god awful and him just being fed up with it and just like yelling at the guy and the other guy and walking away. And then obviously he comes back all contrite later because he knows.
So literally,
nope, it's too late.
His Cowboys career.
And
that kind of sounded like a summary of this.
He's a smart guy who gets explosive, and on reality TV, they're gonna make sure that happens. So,
and just touching on what we said earlier, he is mostly responsible for Amari Cooper's trade too. I do feel like there's some lingering Desmond DeMond in Jerry's brain every time he gets CD had to get on though. You saw. Never mind. We're not going to go back to that lamp, but
it all comes back to Randy Moss.
That's true.
Randy Moss and UT receiver that they traded for the Lions.
Fuck, Roy Williams. Yeah.
Roy Williams, the other Roy
round.
Williams. Yeah. Those two moves have just haunted Jerry forever. Not drafting Randy and trading for Roy Williams has kind of ruined the wide receiver position.
I think you could argue that Jerry did the world a favor though, because Joey Galloway was a Cowboy like a year later and was basically a superstar on a bullshit team. Like complete bullshit team.
That Parcells or Campo, I don't remember.
Oh no, this is still Chan Gailey. Yeah, this is still way before. Yeah, it's Chan Gailey, Dave Campo, then Parcells. Parcells gets hired the year after they lose to Houston in preseason.
Yeah, I'll cut it back to the Vikings real quick. Not a lot to say. Like I said, they're not a successful team playing against a team that doesn't even have talent, and so they won. But well, it was like 19
defensive touchdowns.
It was 19-6 going in. No, Kirk threw one.
So there was two turnovers by the same guy. There's some notable stat that one of your defensive players had.
I'm trying to remember.
Did not write it down, so I looked.
Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks had an
interception. Jordan Hicks, Texas
and Byron Murphy. Yeah, and Byron Murphy had an interception as well.
How could I forget?
Justin Fields is bad. The Bears are bad. There's not much to say about this game other than the Vikings are just a clearly more talented team than the Bears, and they still fucked around and made it a one-score game. The future doesn't look great. Who do we have next week? The 49ers on a Monday Night Football, which I'm sure when they scheduled that one, they were like, "Oh, this will be a 5-1 team versus a 4-3 team or something." But
it'll be one score.
Troy and Joe get to watch this.
Brock Purdy versus Kirk Cousins. The way
Christian McCaffrey is going to annihilate the Vikings defense, unless the pass rush gets there. If the pass rush gets there, I almost did a.
You got to be able to stop it though, right? You got to be able to stop that run to some extent because the Cowboys. I mean, that was it. It was like playing 5-year-olds. It was like y'all just can't stop the run. Why would we throw like that? Pussies, and that's what San Francisco does. I kind of respect it.
They're good, man. They're if they're not the best team in football, they're right there. They're in that tier for me, I think, and they have been for a couple of years now. So yeah, that's what that is, and that's where the Vikings are. And we don't need to. I'm sure we got something more interesting we could mention from the NFL.
No. Did you want to assign a terroristic threat color to your team? We don't need
yellow, whatever the softest one is. Like, I don't know, there's nothing going on. They're really uninteresting because nothing's going on. They're not going to win anything. They're not going to lose enough to get anybody too good. Hopefully, they can stumble into some kind of lineman.
Depends on. I love how old this is. I have to go to the White House to pull up something that looks like it was made on HTML in 2003.
Okay.
For the terroristic threat level.
Oh, the Department of the Homeland Defense.
Well, we stopped using this because it's racist.
Did we? What?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly why they stopped doing this.
How does that work?
Because it was helping. It's not directly racist. It was targeting. Obviously, it was helping them target issues that it was being used for bullshit reasons. People
elevated is yellow, high is orange, severe is red.
I'm going orange for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going orange. It's high risk of terrorism at all times. I wouldn't say it's an advanced severe risk because they have enough talent to kind of bumblefuck through some games, but like they're shooting themselves in the foot in every way they possibly can. Somehow they're 4-2, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, man, the Dallas Fuckboys are riding hard so far this year.
Yeah, you would just like to see them put together a complete game against a good team just once so that you can see that it can be done. But again, it's tough. Like I don't even know if they have a single play in the red zone this week. Like I don't know.
They got stopped on the push in the red zone, right?
Oh, they did they? Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Another failed push attempt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough, man. And that, like I said, I'm not surprised. There's Rico Dowdle use that's confusing, especially with Tony Pollard maybe having a little fumbleitis. Not a lot of fumbleitis, but there's just like a little more fumbleitis to his game than Zeke, and like that's instantly noticeable.
And Dak almost fumbled that touchdown right at the beginning of the run.
Dakota's always there's always a Dakota.
He did. I've seen him do this a couple times, but one of my favorite ones was he's like running. It comes out of his hands when he's like doing this, and it just bounces. And because footballs are just incredibly random, seemingly, it just bounces right back into his hand in stride.
Oh well, fuck! There was what was the play that happened in this game? There was a Chargers play that Chargers got like a crazy ass play that was deflected by one of our
Justin Herbert threw a pass to himself.
Yeah,
I listened to a radio show where they make predictions every week about what's going to happen in the Cowboys game, and then replay the audio, and they never get any of them right, obviously. But one of the guys did say Justin Herbert would throw a pass to himself, so he got a full point.
Oh my god, that's a hell of a one to get right.
But some of just a side note, some of the other predictions really funny is like someone will be seen puking on camera anywhere. So he said the whole time he's watching the game, just looking through the crowd, just see if anyone's puking in the background.
Oh my god! What do you use evidence? If you find a guy, do you actually go back on your TV and you're just?
Oh, yep. Gotta supply evidence to get your points.
I agree.
But yeah, so that's our team's terrorism threat levels. I'm actually going to go down to blue because that's guarded. It's not the lowest of low, which is green. I'm going to go with blue, which is guarded because it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Jefferson's out right now.
Not an awful thing longevity wise.
No, it's fun. If there was going to be a year to lose him, this is going to be it. So,
and I really thought that winning that game was ultimately they're not looking good, but it's still technically the trajectory is there to win the division. The Lions have to fuck it up at this point almost. But
yeah, and I should mention that, week by week, I do start to believe a little more in the Lions. I'm never going to fully believe until they get into a playoffs and then win a playoff game. And then I'll start to say, okay, they are good. But I believe in them now more than I did at the beginning of the season. They've proven it. But we haven't seen them do it. Every time we've seen them do something, it's been, week 10 to 17 or week 1 to 5. So you just need to see it put together within a season, which is the whole game. It's tough.
Shit, I saw that Megatron era a little too close. Every time they played the Cowboys,
dude, it pretty much only hurt you guys. I think everyone else.
It was a guaranteed 200 for that.
Nobody else had problems.
Every time. Killing us.
They did. That's Stafford. That would be Stafford, right? Like early Stafford.
Well, sometimes the Stafford got injured a lot, so sometimes it'd be even fucking like Sean Hill, dude. I'm pretty sure Sean Hill burned us up on one of those games.
Sean Hill.
Yeah. But that was a different Cowboys defense that was not built to succeed. It was built in a very funny way, but that's long, desperate, dark story.
All right. Well, that might wrap up our football stuff, unless you wanted to hit the
review. Yeah, we'll review it.
Skip it, train wreck. Yeah, I forgot about that while I was saying it. I remembered because it's on a different page.
It'd be like that.
I gotta find where he sent me that. There it is. Okay. So when you watch the supplemental Caesar full episode, he's gonna have his watch it, skip it, train wreck. We're gonna give you our takes on the ones that he picks. I'm confused when he says which was Lions versus Ravens. I don't know what that means, but so Caesar's watch it this week is going to be Lions versus Ravens. And I'm interested to see why he thinks that, because I don't find that particularly interesting.
He's trying to figure out also, do I trust the Detroit Lions or not?
Fair. And Montgomery got hurt, right? But he's probably coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I should look at the rest of the schedule to see why that's the watch it game. If maybe there's just
I don't disagree with it. I'm not going to be able to watch any games. I'm going to be driving to Tennessee this entire week, and I don't suspect that's going to give me too much time to watch football. But shout out to my sister for having our wedding on the Cowboys bye week.
Did she plan that?
I don't believe so. Her
I guess
family,
it's kind of hard to. Sometimes you pick wedding dates so far in advance that you wouldn't
I'm
even
gonna
know.
guess no, but like, is it possible she has like a grandmother that made this request? Yes, we are, especially her. She has some. We're half brother sisters, so her mother's side has a little more prominent Landry Cowboy era ask people. They're more the Jason Witten Cowboy fans. But
Hey,
yeah,
he's from Tennessee.
that's true. That's facts.
I'm looking through the rest of the games. I think what I would pick for my watch it would either have been Chargers Chiefs or Dolphins Eagles.
Okay.
But what do you think? Why do you think Lions Ravens is a watch it? Why do you think he picked, or why would you pick that as your one to watch?
I'm big on Lamar, right? I've always got to watch Lamar, and then I kind of feel the same. I like the Lions. I'm interested in the Lions, and I want to see if they're for real. Is there a little Odell Beckham renaissance happening? Like not a lot, but just enough to help Baltimore.
Okay.
All these things matter to me because I like Baltimore. Baltimore's a fun team when they're fun and good, and I might have to start coming to the reality. I'm not going to do it for another at least 10 weeks or so, but I might have to come to the reality that I have to find another like team to hope win the Super Bowl because if my team's not going to do it, that eliminates one, and then there's another team I'm like, no, they definitely can't fucking win it.
Yeah, that's my thing is usually just picking who I don't want to win.
Yeah, no, but then you have to.
I'm used to that,
and I can't root for the Chiefs. I'm over it. But like, if I need the Chiefs to beat the Eagles, then it is what it is.
That's kind of how it was with most of the Patriots ones. Where I'm like, I don't mind just tack another one on for them. Go ahead.
I don't like it because it's just the jealousy thing. It's just straight up jealousy.
We're in different positions as fans there.
That's all it is. But yeah, if they do it, ultimately you just can always be like, well, we lost to greatness, like Jim Kelly has for 20 years.
Yeah, and then Caesar skip a game, Oakland versus Chicago, which I don't have too many qualms with that.
Feels like that should be the train wreck game because that looks like a shit show.
It does.
Max Crosby about to go for how many sacks? Is the record still 7 in a game?
I didn't even know it was that high. Honestly, I would have guessed 6.5.
I think Derek Thomas still has that.
Boom, 7 sacks. Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
1990. Geez.
That's probably one of the more unbreakable sports records that people don't think about.
It's going to be tough, yeah. Especially with the way they rotate those guys in and out now. And with just how quickly people can get rid of the ball.
You get more opportunities now, but it's much harder.
And yeah, good luck not getting flagged while you try it.
That too.
Yeah, I think Raiders Bears would be a good skip it or a good train wreck. Those two sometimes feel, but kind of like how train wreck and watch it also feel a little bit interchangeable. But I think skip it is for those ultimate boring games. So I can understand why you would say Raiders Bears because the Raiders are probably going to win pretty handily and not in any interesting fashion.
Yeah, well, is Garoppolo back?
That's a good question. I don't follow.
Are they still? I don't know.
I think I called them Oakland earlier, which isn't a great sign.
More people in Oakland care than Vegas.
Bears open Raiders week with Tyson Bagent as starting QB. What happened to Justin Fields? He get hurt?
Huh? Well, fuck. We're not the NFL guys, apparently.
No, I mean, like I said, I was just pretty much just nervously waiting baseball.
Oh, dude, the watching game is easy. Chiefs Chargers. When have you ever watched a Chiefs Chargers game that wasn't popping?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I had that one and the.
Yeah, you're right. But that's fine. I don't mind him doing that. I don't see any worse game. I don't see any worse game than that.
Well, there is one game that I think could be considered worse, and so I don't know. So we'll say this is either skip it or a train wreck. Would be Washington and the New York Giants.
I would say train wreck is the Commies and Giants for sure. Yeah, that would be my train wreck vote. Although
we should leave Caesars if we haven't already mentioned it in the recording. We should leave Caesars a mystery for everyone else to try to figure out why the hell he picked that one. So, because I don't see why that one would be there. We'll leave that as a tease.
I know it's got to be. Also, Monfro hitting the interwebs pre-game. just sent me a tweet from Evan Grant that Creed filmed a video.
Hell yeah! I hope it's the fucking Rangers will soar. I really hope you recycle that song for a third time. That'd be hilarious. So Caesar gave us predictions for Vikings and Eagles games. Oh, you guys are on bye weeks. So that's why there's no Cowboys. I was trying to figure that out. So
best week of
we'll do that as well. I do think that the Dolphins will beat the Eagles. But I think he's shooting high with his score, which you can hear on the other episode that gets posted. I'm going to say it's something like 28-24.
Okay. I can fuck with that. I would probably also, I San Francisco is going to probably end up beating you guys handedly, but it's got to be one score.
I was giving you Eagles Dolphins, just so
Eagles Dolphins. I don't know.
That was my 28-24 with the Dolphins.
Eagles bounce back. Eagles bounce back. Yeah, I have to keep picking the Eagles because it's just
fading them. Yeah,
it has to.
But yeah, Vikings 49ers, they're gonna win. And I think this will be one where we lose by like 12 instead of 6.
Oh, you both are on prime time this week.
Yeah.
So if your team's so we got a little prime time. Always fun.
Primetime Kirk is not something I've ever especially enjoyed. Unfortunately, the record isn't great.
Primetime anything isn't fun because that's just everybody watching and laughing at your team or overreacting to your team.
Yeah, 1,000% for sure.
So it's always an adventure.
I think we all agree that the 49ers can beat the Vikings, though.
Yeah, I would say so. But maybe the Vikings, I don't know. Maybe they're going to hit a little slide right now, and then Vikings. So
who knows? I mean, any given Sunday, but I would say 9 times out of 10, the Niners win this game.
Yeah. Uncle Mo.
And that might just wrap up football talk, unless.
No, I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll do.
When's first pitch?
We're looking at like 10 minutes from now, but
okay,
I think we're okay to bleed into a little bit of it. I'm not too. At some point, I would like to focus on the whole game.
We are only going to do the hoopla this week, then, and we'll do Mavs Spurs futures next week or 2 weeks.
Well, I will. Right? Yeah, I will be.
Well, me and Caesar can do those.
Cool. Yeah. All this is going to be in the recording. That's fine. I will be, just to tease, as we do Pass the Rock. I will next week be in San Antonio in the building for Victor Wembanyama's actual NBA debut against the Dallas Mavericks. It'll be my first time to see Luka live. No, I've seen him a couple of times, actually. I lied. But it'll obviously be my first time to see the Spurs since Tim Duncan was playing and since 2006, 2005. I think that was when I went to a Mavs Spurs game. The only time I've seen the Spurs live. So, yeah, I'm excited.
And you get to see the home court.
Yeah, I've been in there for a Texas women's basketball game, but I've not been there for a Spurs game.
Yeah, I still haven't been out that way either. So I've only driven past a few times. I haven't been to the Rockets either. I've barely been to Houston.
I've been to Toyota Center to see John Mayer.
John Mayer.
Great show. He's an incredible guitarist.
Yeah, honestly, I would say that's probably one of those concerts that I'd be like, why would I want to see John Mayer? And then I'm like, yeah, I guess he could put on a live show.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if he's touring an album or not. When I saw him, I don't think that he was. He was mostly doing the blues stuff with his incredible band. So it's just, him playing blues covers and then a couple of his hits. So that was really fun.
Yes, that would be the version. I like Continuum. He played Continuum.
Yeah, and that was that era. He also had the John Mayer Trio, which I don't know if you ever listened to. It's a single album, live album, John Mayer Trio. Incredible. It's right around the Continuum era, but that's just straight.
Okay, no, actually,
a trio of blues rock. I had liked his early pop stuff, but that's where I actually fell in love with him, was listening to him on the John Mayer Trio.
Yeah, to make them. Your Body is a Wonderland is how you make the money.
For sure. And then obviously, if you go back and listen to it, there's not every one of them, but a lot of those are pretty complicated for radio schlock songs. Like he still put a decent amount of technical skill and talent in there. So,
and you can't overlook the fact that Continuum is both one of the most beloved women love Continuum more than almost anything, and it's like one of the better breakup album songs.
Women too, yeah,
like that is their crack cocaine, and it's very highly respected by pretty much everybody else too. So that's like double.
It's got some of the most expensive guitar tones ever recorded.
That I didn't know, but it makes sense. It's a beautiful song.
I don't know if they are. I just know that I remember him doing a video where he's talking about how expensive one specific one was, and I was just like, I don't think you needed to do that, but it does sound great.
That album is fucking amazing. But anyway,
hoopla.
The Weekly Hoopla. Actually, we're talking about music. That's so perfect. I don't know if you want to do this or because I'm lazy or talking or whatever. Where's the comments? Can I? Oh, what is this?
This
can
is
I not,
if we were
can I
live.
Not place one? I couldn't just. I bet I can't just place a comment in here.
You got to go to banners.
Oh, there's a private chat. I'm
Oh, that's what you're trying to do. Okay.
I'm stupid. I was trying to send you a YouTube clip if you wanted to pull it up for reference. This is so we don't use this song enough. I wish we used it more. Antonio Brown came out with a song about a year and a half ago or something. Put that shit on. It's a very simple song, but I think it's very catchy. I personally like it. Well, Kai Jones came out with another hit as he was leaving his sports team. So now we kind of have to. Now we can battle between who's got the better song. We don't have to play it for everybody listening, but they can always go find it anywhere at this point. I think I actually had to go to a different channel, a YouTube channel that I just sent you.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And he calls himself the GOAT. It's very modern rap, so I don't know if it's necessarily your flavor, but he had some bars. It was kind of funny. It kind of has the same feel as that Antonio Brown song where it's just irrationally hype and it's not necessarily very good. And the shout out to the Clutch Points person for making this insane graphic that was never necessary and probably took 5 minutes, but we respect the work nonetheless.
Oh, just struggling. We're not actually listening to it because it's struggling.
Well, and make sure to tell everybody this is also former Texas Longhorn Kai Jones. That's the relative part. And he was cut by his team and he's a free agent. So either way, go listen to that, kids. It's funny as hell. I'll keep it in rotation because it's just, I'll never forget this moment. I never thought we would get an Antonio Brown situation in NBA. Yeah, here we are. Just don't go masturbating in a Dubai pool anytime soon.
Or in front of masseuse or
right. No, please stop.
Or a psychologist. I don't know.
We don't need to get into the NBA's current issue in that field because boy is it an issue. Oh wait, we do. Kevin Porter got traded. Kevin fucking Porter got traded for actual assets.
I forgot what his deal was. What was he in trouble for?
So this one's going to be annoying to explain, but I'll give you guys a quick one. It's DV. It's a pretty gnarly DV case where the woman in question, domestic violence, if I need to clarify that, case where the woman had extreme injuries that she had to go to the hospital for. So it escalated quickly, right? When we got that information, Twitter went crazy. The world went crazy with it. That cared. Part of the world that cared. It's a pretty significant amount. And now it's getting a little weird. Some of the charges got dropped, not all of them. That one isn't as weird. That's just usually how the law works, where they're like, well, we know we can get you for this, so we're not going to waste our time with these little side charges that we initially charged you with. That's very common. The weird part is that the woman in question today came out with like a 4-paragraph defense in his behalf.
Which, I mean, I think we've seen that before from like John Jones's wife. Maybe I might have the wrong woman.
This is unfortunately, this is part of this world too.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Ray Rice's wife was like,
yes, I think
out there saying like,
Ray Rice that
don't go after him too hard for this or whatever.
And I'm not going to tell her how to live her life, and I'm not going to sit here and I don't care. At this point, I look at it as a basketball fan only. Kevin Porter's had a million chances. He's fucked up all of them. This was I don't care what the legality of the situation is. He doesn't take it seriously at the end of the day. This is a highly competitive league that's very, 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 very tight on jobs. You're out. That's it. You're out. The annoying part, the reason we bring it up today Because honestly, I wanted to just be done with this situation, but he was still on the roster. We were still trying to figure out what's the final resolution. We finally got it. So he got traded from Houston to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City will get 2 second-round draft picks, most likely bullshit fodder, but still assets nonetheless, technically. And even worse, because it's not great that Oklahoma City did this, because they're going to cut him, right? They're immediately going to cut him. They made sure to put that in the tweet. It's not that confusing. The 2 players they traded were the 2 people that almost anybody that covers the Thunder, is a fan of the Thunder, is aware of the Thunder, probably the 2 most likely cut candidates. And the issue with JRE, especially Jeremiah Robinson Earl, was that he has some sort of value. Victor Oladipo obviously is a really talented player, but the injuries at this point in his career, he's a bit of a question mark, and will likely be flipped again, according to reports that I don't care about right now. Main point is, I think Houston even got a rotation player, maybe not a playoff rotation player, but a regular season rotation player. So that's the kind of gross part here, is that at the end of the day, like, all someone had to do was cut this dude. His contract already had it in there where it was pretty easy to do. And Houston still was like, no, we're gonna do the business move here. And I just get it. Like, for what, end of rotation backup big that you got all this bad publicity for? Oklahoma City got 2 second-round picks that you may not even use. It's just frustrating. Because these big brain suits will just sit there and tell you how that was the most, that's the way you handle your business. It's like, come on, this isn't. Not everybody can be the Spurs, but like, this is a point where maybe we should point at the Greg Popovich sign.
I mean, this goes hand in hand with a lot of different conversations we could have even outside of sports, but like the one we had with talking about, Jerry wants to win, but it's also the business comes first. And so, yeah, that's how can we hold them accountable? We can try to do it with our dollars, but realistically at this point, if you own a major sports team, you're kind of set to do whatever, because even if you do something that enough people don't like, then you're just going to get $8 billion to walk away. So
yeah, and a part of this also is a good reminder to NBA fans is, like, I know that our league is very special for some of the correlation it has to civic issues and with progressiveness in America. At the same time, remember that was mostly the players, if not almost all the players doing. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, they had to drag. I mean, they used to get in trouble for writing shit on their shoes or on their armbands.
David Stern was doing fucked up shit to Allen Iverson. So, like, either way, and we're actually going to kind of talk about that a little bit. Back to the funny. We like to be funny here. Unless you have anything else on this despicable.
No, there's not really any.
It's another YouTube short
I have to add. I'll say that.
It's another YouTube short here, and it's a mystery question that you don't know about. You can pull it up, and that'll give you a guess. But I want to ask you: is there any athlete you would get their face tattooed on your body?
Funnily enough, I thought about getting a. I didn't think about it. I pretended I was going to get a Mitch Garver one if he hit a second grand slam in that same game.
Oh my god! Okay, well, that one I get.
I do know people who I believe them when they said that they would have gotten a Tony Romo tattoo on their ass if he had actually won one. But I think they said that full knowledge of not him, but necessarily just the situations that were going on.
Honestly, I'll put it on wax. I'll put the number 4 on my ass if Dak pulls it off. And that's not because
the
I
number.
Have no, it's just, yeah, number 4. Just
okay, not his
silver
face.
and blue 4, not his face. I can't do that. That's too much ink. I only have 1 tattoo.
I don't have any at this point. At some point, I probably will get one. I just haven't wanted to spend a lot of money on something that I might not like. There hasn't been one yet. That's Same. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. The game has started. Altuve almost drove one out, but it was caught in center field. We're good. So someone got a Ben Simmons tattoo on their chest is what Jacob just sent me. That's what we're talking about.
And the best version of this, and what I really want to highlight for you here, is Ben Simmons' face. So even if you don't show the good folks at home, I want you to watch that because it's funny. Ben Simmons, very, very controversial player at this point in his career. Maybe is about to have the season comeback of a lifetime. We'd love to see it.
I've been hearing that for 4, 5, 6.
Now we can see it. Now it's just preseason. Now it's like, oh shit,
he's the Jerickson Profar of the NBA, dude.
Except for he actually was good at one point.
Jerickson Profar was too for about 6 to 8 months.
No. Ben Simmons had 2 or 3 years where he was.
I know.
All defense, all that good stuff.
It feels like once you pass a certain age, it's probably going one direction for you when you haven't really figured it out yet. Yes. I could be wrong.
Well, maybe circumstances. There's a lot of weird shit with Ben Simmons, so I don't want to write him off. I just know that I understand why teams weren't exactly investing in him either. But regardless if it's good or bad, this fan is already committed to the Ben Simmons tattoo. He has Ben Simmons looked at the camera like, "Can you believe this shit?" Which I kind of love for Ben Simmons because all the shit he gets, it's like some of these people still fucking love me. Like that's something to go hang your head on. As an athlete, it's got to feel really weird to be that, at that level where you're that hated and beloved by so many people. But yeah, anyway, that one cracked me up. Probably the funniest bit of content in the NBA world that's come out this week, but not necessarily most notable.
Yeah, I don't think that I've seen anything funnier.
That one,
I remember.
Well, Andre Drummond did grin stuff himself last night, which was pretty fun. But we're not
actually. What did I see with the Jimmy Butler emo meme? There was a Jimmy Butler emo meme I saw this week that was very good.
Actually, I think you just segued it. Maybe was it the Ringers? Was it a snapshot of the Ringers thing?
Sorry, Scherzer got through top.
I'm happy you said that because I'm ahead of you, and I'm not going to say anything from here on out.
Fair enough. Thanks for letting me know too. That's also helpful. What were we talking about?
We were actually about to talk about the Ringer.
Jimmy Butler, the Ringer.
Jimmy Butler, but I was thinking, were you talking about? What were you talking? So I saw Jimmy Butler. Someone screenshotted Jimmy Butler's picture that they used in the player rankings thing, and because now it's the media guide, like you're supposed to pull the media picture, and that is literally like during games we're going to see that picture.
Yeah,
probably already has. I don't know if I've watched any Heat.
No,
actually, I don't think he's played yet this season, the preseason. But anyway, yeah, the Ringer had a bit of a controversy on their hands right now, and it's pretty funny. This is honestly maybe Jerry Jones-esque. The Denver Nuggets are your champion. We all know that. Calvin Booth is their general manager. Most of you probably don't know that. Calvin Booth did play in the NBA for a bit, so if you've heard the name, that's why.
It's a good sports name.
It is a good sports name. Calvin has been a part of a succession of really good front office people in Denver for some time now. He's the one who finally capitalized on it all. He's a very talented guy. He's got them stocked and loaded perennially. Was quoted in some pretty harsh quotes and not exactly the ideal start to the season, if I'm being honest. Not the end of the world, but you can see why he's already come out and had to address these. So the Ringer ran a story that was about previewing the dynasty that is the Denver Nuggets, potentially, right?
Sure.
So this is supposed to be a fun thing. This is supposed to be the ushering in, right? Well, there's one particular part that has stuck out like a sore thumb, which he's talking about his decision to trade backup guard Bones Highland, a talented combo guard who was struggling on defense and is more of the Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, let me go get a bucket type of guards. Traded him because, in his words, I knew you couldn't have two guys that couldn't guard. And we had two guys that were young and kind of more of me guys. Overlap is a silent killer. He's referencing his $30 million a year player, Michael Porter Jr.
I mean, yeah, I guess he might get offended by that.
Right. Bones Highland probably has every reason to be mad, although that's not wrong. That's a
but
pretty
I
good
mean,
assessment.
yeah, like do those guys think they can guard? Is that what's
or is
it just that you don't want your GM or whoever saying that about you?
So that is one. I would say the only reason that I feel a little interested in this is because my biggest question mark for the Denver Nuggets repeating is how Michael Porter Jr. handles this season, because he's the most likely regression candidate that could hurt their chances. and now you've started it off on the wrong foot, in my opinion.
Or is it an intentional? Yeah,
and maybe it is
a kick in the pants, which the Stars owner tried for 5 years in a row with Ben and Sagan.
Right. So it's a dangerous game, right? Either you get annoying or it works and everyone glorifies you as a hero, even though it's probably a fluke that it worked. I did want to also add to this. This was his other quote on it that I thought was impressive. The overlap is a silent killer part. Already said that. He actually referenced the Lob City Clippers, and I thought that was a fun. If you remember the Lob City Clippers, such a talented team couldn't win it. JJ Redick, now massively a part of the NBA analyst game, has been on record multiple times since retiring, saying that he felt like they are chemistry issues, that they just could never get over that hurdle. Me looking back, I'm like, yeah, I get that. You've told me enough. I've heard enough stories where I believe it. The talent always felt off. Like there was just something, and this was a great way to look at it. No matter how good those four players, their four best players at the time, Chris Paul, JJ Redick. Remember, JJ was averaging like 15 points a game as a 3-point specialist in like sniper range, like 40% regular stuff. Probably one of the better 3-point specialist seasons in NBA history. A couple run, really, this Clippers run. And then you had the lob threat of DeAndre and Blake. But what did you have? You had two small guards that couldn't defend certain sizes, and you had two guys that were offensively similar, even though they were different body builds.
There's not enough room in the paint for both of them to catch lobs,
and there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough audibles in the playbook to say it. You know what I mean? There wasn't enough change, and I think now,
it's a good trick when you're running into a town for one night and running out.
Yeah,
but when you got to play 7,
exactly,
you need a team.
Exactly, and so I think that was a big part
of the beautiful game.
So I was really impressed by him saying that. So Calvin Booth, I really thought this was a good article for you, other than that one quote that he now has said under no circumstances. Now, Patrick, this is the part where I want you to listen for. So if the Rangers game is on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Under no circumstances would I make or approve those kinds of comments for public consumption. So now I believe you did it because you told me you did it.
So now he's saying that he thought it was off the record or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what's with these guys trying to claim off the record. We had that in the baseball playoffs too, with the guy who said like attaboy Bryce or whatever, and was it the Reds? No. Who did they beat last round? I already forgot. But yeah, the guy who said whatever, kind of talking a little like just lighthearted trash against Bryce Harper in their locker room, and that turned into like a big story. And it was like, and then he's like, "Oh, nothing I say in there should be on the record." And it's like, well,
yes, I did.
There's reporters in there all day, every day. Like, I don't know what you think off the record means.
And then that lady went on MLB Network and got all huffy and puffy, even though apparently she went into a locker room and took a married man, allegedly, according to Twitter. I don't believe Twitter, but like that time I want to believe Twitter.
Anyways, yeah, just that made me think of that. It was just like, oh, well, you can't just pull it's the reporter's fault.
Mm-hmm. I agree, but
when you can, and he did, it's gonna work. It's gonna be fine. But
there is an opposite side of the story where you can use the reporter to do your bidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's you're just trying to play both sides, but it's not.
And I think I might have a candidate for that.
Okay.
Also, hello, Alexa. Bitch. Did you hear that?
I did hear that, but I didn't think we said anything that would.
No, I think it was trying to tell me that I have a deal or a package or something. The final big story here. ESPN finally released the Ja Morant article 2 years in the making.
Wow.
And it does seem like it was like when you read the whole thing, it does seem.
Well, I think the problem is every time they thought they were done.
Just when I thought I was out.
Here's a whole nother chapter.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some concerning stuff with it. There's some concerning stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Ja, I have more clarity, I feel like, on the behavioral issues and timeline of Ja Morant's whole thing. At the same time,
I would. It would be nice to have it all written out like that for me.
I'm gonna actually give you the notes and dissect them and all that good shit. I've got this bullet pointed because there's a lot. It's a big story.
Yeah.
So
it's like seeing the Antonio Brown list every time he gets brought up on Reddit. It's the list of every stupid thing he's done over the last couple of years.
So yes, this one is close. It's not nearly as bad, but it's close. So you'll probably see, if you've seen this article, alligators got him as the tagline, is like the byline. And this would be in reference to his first All-Star appearance, which I'm just going to go ahead and give a little background here, because we're both Caucasian men. I'm sure there's plenty of our audience that is too. Not everybody is aware of All-Star Weekend and its history, right? I don't remember what it's exactly called, but I think that I've heard Shaq call it like Coachella for Black people or something like that, right? So I've always heard this has always been a thing, right? It's a big effect.
I've known it. Yeah, I've always known that it's a big deal in the community.
So first of all, kind of citing alligators has got him at the All-Star game. This is from an anonymous team source, by the way. Nobody came out and put their name on record except for Baxter Holmes and Tim McMahon, the two guys that broke the story, right? ESPN's guys. Only people's names on this, which just is frustrating, but modern.
Tim McMahon used to be around here, right?
He is. He does.
Is he still based around here? Okay.
Houston. He does Houston, Dallas, Memphis, and then they'll kind of assign him out randomly. Yeah. You guys have Andrew Lopez. Andrew Lopez splits time with the Pelicans, the Spurs, and the Thunder, I think.
Rockets?
Oh, no, the Rockets is
yeah, got you.
But anyway, so yeah, the alligators got him. That's the headline. That's the most interesting part. Obviously, that feels a little coded. Trust me, it's going to get worse.
Sorry, I was reacting to Scherzer hitting a guy.
Yeah. So are you caught up?
I don't know.
I think you just caught up on your stream.
I refreshed my stream, so
yeah, I think you caught up. The scouts are now anonymous scouts, team scouts.
Are you going to explain to me what you're talking about with alligators in this? Because I'm confused.
So the alligators is just a quote. More or less, once you read the rest of it, it sounds like they're insinuating rappers and other famous Black celebrities, more or less, got to his head.
Okay. I've just never heard the term alligators for people who, I don't know, clout chasers or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I think what they meant, but it feels very tone deaf, just given the reality of the situation.
Is that a racial term that I don't know about?
No. Because just from the simple facts is what is historically known about All-Star Weekend. And you're pointing All-Star Weekend specifically as the moment that Ja Morant stopped his first All-Star trip. They are literally blaming this trip on starting the rest of his downfall.
I mean,
because let me explain to you how they paint this image. This was Memphis Grizzlies propaganda. I want that to be very clear. I'm not condoning Ja Morant's behavior. I'm not saying he doesn't have real things he has to handle. This piece was propaganda as fuck. And I don't care what anybody says. So their anonymous scouts say they never saw any of this prior. This is corroborated by a local business owner who's going to be very important to the story later on, who says that the first time he met Ja and T. Morant is his dad, that they were lovely, nice, calm individuals. They came in, had a great meal, all that good stuff. Great customers, down-to-earth people, right? Well, this pattern will change. And that's why they note all of this anonymous stuff. Anonymous local business owner, anonymous team scout. They said the team first started actually noticing this during the 21-22 season when he won Most Improved. So I think his second year. And he was getting a PJ for his family and friends to meet him at the cities he was in for whatever reasons, and he would show up hungover regularly. I took objection with this because, first of all, if you knew about this and you just sort of slid it under the rug, which is literally the phrase that an anonymous team scout said in the article, in the paragraph, whatever, then I'm really not sure how Memphis isn't bigger in the responsibility boat here. Like, what's new about Ja Morant in that situation? Take all the other stupid shit away. What is different about Ja Morant than most other NBA superstars? Even Luka Doncic's fucking dad was a pro player. He's probably still flying his dad around in PJs. Like, what is new about the breadwinner being these athletes and come like this is so not having any system in place, not having appropriate veteran players, not having this stuff in place is all 100% Memphis Grizzlies' fault. And this is why a lot of the teams struggle. And it's not because of talent or the players necessarily. It's because we don't need everybody to be San Antonio, but we need some of you guys to start having some fucking respect for yourselves.
Yeah, I would probably just posit that it's, probably a little column A, column B. Obviously the guy, you don't want to give him a pass for some of the things that he's done.
Would you call it making a deal with the devil? Signing an NBA superstar?
No, I wouldn't.
Because one of the Memphis Grizzlies team members did, anonymously, of course.
That doesn't surprise me because that organization's pretty much been terrible since its existence that I know of. They lucked into having some Gasols for a couple of years. I don't know much about Vancouver. So.
Jerry West took over the team once they got to Memphis, and so they did have a little bit of a positive momentum. But yes, eventually Jerry left the team.
I liked the Grindhouse teams. I mean, I hated them, but they were fun to watch.
Grindhouse was really good.
Yeah, that's about the most they've ever done. So.
But the issue with Grindhouse is they had the veterans, right? Mike Conley, those guys, like you needed some veterans here, and they went so young so quickly that I think that ended up showing.
Yeah, all that was just said. I haven't seen much from their organization to make me think they take winning basketball as seriously as they could. Same with Charlotte and some other teams around the league. I could probably name New Orleans, whoever.
Well, a local columnist in this article, he did give his name. I didn't write it down, but he did. He said that Jaw's the biggest. No, this was not the two guys. That Jaw is the biggest star since Elvis in Memphis. Which, damn, I mean, Powell was good for a bit there. I get where maybe y'all don't love him anymore, but damn, he was good there for a second.
Well,
with Mark and Zeba,
if Powell was around now, Powell would be a much bigger star in Memphis now that the whole league's a little more accepting.
Well, and it is different to remember the demographic of Memphis.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm thinking.
More representative, and
I would say honestly, John Calipari is probably was a Calipari coach at Memphis. He might even be a bigger celebrity than.
That's exactly who I would talk about. Yeah. So that was another point of it. The general manager and the coach first got involved with the laser pointer incident and with the Pacers, which we still don't really know if that was a laser pointer threat. That was not a gun, but if you look at all the evidence, it certainly seems like there was a gun on the other side of that laser. Here's the thing. There's two other instances that are already a part of this whole thing. Both of them caused by Ja Morant's family and Ja Morant choosing with his posse to go to these situations and escalate them.
Wow.
This same local business owner that we mentioned earlier ended up telling T. Morant that his son wanted to be a rapper more than he wanted to be a basketball player, and said that their patroning his establishment went from being one of the best things that's happened to them to the worst thing that's ever happened to them, because they were having regular incidences, including some not necessarily flattering stuff with other local patrons. So there's a lot in this article. Ja obviously, there's nothing going to change about it. There's no new news necessarily here, other than a whole lot of catching us up on the stuff that none of us were going to know in real time. And now
it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to put it all together like that, especially with the culture we have of the immediate reaction media. So
there you have it, Memphis fans. I'm sorry. It appears your team and your star player both need to come to harsh realizations soon. And hopefully they do. I don't root for people to fail like this, especially in the NBA. I'm selfish about it. I don't want to see this bullshit anymore. It absolutely fucking drives me up a wall with this Kevin Porter shit, with Miles Bridges especially. And I don't even want to talk about where that story's at, because it better be different by the next time we get an update. So yeah, that's a lot to say that we're pretty much done with hoops. I'll leave it on a funny note. James Harden's playing hooky finally. So if you love your James Harden,
he stopped showing up.
Yeah, he finally said, you know what? Actually, I'm going nuclear, baby. Let's do it. So
until the season starts and he starts missing real checks, we'll see.
Oh, okay.
What's up? You okay?
I'm okay.
Are you a little bit ahead of me?
I'm okay.
Yep. Yeah, you're a little bit ahead of me.
So yeah. We'll finish the weekly hoopla and let us get to the rest of this night, and with a simple finals update for the W. What looked like a potential sweep by the all-time great Aces might end up being a lost opportunity at greatness. Oh, that's might be a lost opportunity at greatness. The super team lost a mostly honorable loss. Like they were losing the whole game, but about into the third, start of the fourth, it appears that a season-ending injury has occurred to their star guard, Chelsea Gray.
Yeah.
So even though they still have 3 stars, Chelsea Gray is the momentum swinger. Is the momentum swinger in a big way. And Asia Wilson still may be the best player in the W, and that'll matter. Maybe that'll save the Aces title hopes, but it does feel like this is what we need to see for the Liberty to take their title. Like I said, it's not easy. It's not over. The game is actually on tonight, so I'll be double dutying, or I'll just be watching W basketball, depending on how this goes. And I think I'm still gonna. I think I'm going to pick the Liberty. I do think Chelsea Gray's absence is going to be too much. I haven't looked at the score yet, so if I'm already looking like an idiot, who knows? But I think the Liberty are going to take a hold of this. Jonquel Jones is their second best player. She played like their best player. Sabrina Ionescu, who sometimes everyone thinks is their best player, is starting to play more like a role player, which I think is good for their flow, because now that you have all of the Jonquel Jones, all of the Breonna Stewart, and I think that's really the formula for them. So I think the Liberty are going to win their first WNBA championship.
Not a blowout yet. I'll just say that for you.
Is it the Liberty on top?
It is what I'm looking at. 19-11 Liberty up with 1:16 left in the first.
So they're already getting off to a big start. So we'll see. I'll turn it on. I'll know more. But yeah, I do think that Chelsea Gray injury is about as detrimental as you could get, because it came at the same time as the Liberty were figuring things out, even with her on the floor. So
big momentum shift, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a double whammy. You lose a tight game where it feels like the Liberty are answering the call, and you lose your
it's like throwing a 99 or 100-yard pick six.
Yes,
not great. It's exactly. Not great.
Ask Kurt Warner. All right. Well, shout out to the Texas Rangers still. We love you, and
plenty of time.
A lot of game left.
Yeah.
Patrick, be well, be patient, and remember that it's all house money from here.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Actually,
again,
go ahead. Keep going on what you said. I was gonna finish up on some other notes so we can hang it up.
I was gonna give a last shout out to Tyler for joining us. Appreciate having him on. We'll see Caesar in his separate little recording, and then we'll have him back next week, and I'll be gone. I might hop in. We'll see what happens. Probably not, because I doubt I'll have very good connection inside that arena, but
we'll try to have fun with it. I will Caesar and I will still do something for everybody. The Mavs Spurs information, whatever the Texas two-step will continue next week. We just cut that a little short today. The only notes I wanted to say is Jason Kidd's doing some funny business with his rotations, and Jeremy Sohan started at point guard tonight for the Spurs.
Cool.
So a lot of interesting topics, and that's your little tease.
Tease, a little tease.
Tease. All right. Until next week, sports fans.
Later.
Excelsior.